Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerds of Legend. I am Ben. Next to me is Brennan, and below us are Joel and Missy. It's the four of us together again after I feel like it's been a while. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the book The Alchemist by Coehlo. Other than that, we'll probably be, since there's Christmas and New Year's and everything else going on, we'll probably be taking a break next week, but we'll see if we can. We'll see. If you see us, you'll see us if you see us. So
I feel like we should just take all of December off every year because that's what we inadvertently seem to do.
Yeah, it happens every time. Especially until I'm done with grad school, it's going to be a fucking shit show every time. So
yeah.
Anyway, we'll let you know. Other than that, we'll probably cover another Warhammer ep for the next time. I think we got some mutants to talk about. We might even have a couple more human factions to cover. Some of them are mutants, some of them are not. Yeah, I guess we got to talk about Leagues of Votann and everything else, but
my children from buying Leagues of Votann, they were very excited. They're like, "What are these?" I'm like, "You don't want those. Put that down."
Yeah. Good, because they're like the worst faction in the game, other than Death Guard.
Yeah, but Death Guard is cool.
Yeah, at least Death Guard's cool looking.
Yeah. Codex will come out and change it. All right, synopsis time.
Anyway, so Alchemist.
You need a stopwatch?
Let's see.
No, you can do it.
Better not for a fucking 4-hour book.
What?
Better not for like a 5-hour book.
It was 4 hours.
4, whatever.
Go.
All right, go. So, Santiago is an Indonesian shepherd, and he always kind of dreams of going somewhere else. And he's, talks to his dad, and his dad's like, why do you want to go somewhere if people want to come here? And then he supports him by giving him 3 gold coins, 3 Spanish coins, and then that starts his journey. And so he has a dream. He meets a gypsy woman who says it's a prophetic one, and that he needs to go see the pyramids. And so that starts his journey of trying to get different places. And so he gets to Tangiers, I believe, and sells his flock, and then
you forget it, meets milk. He's a dick.
Yes. And so he loses, so he sells his flock, and then he gets robbed, quote unquote, but is someone supposed to give him, or he bought camels, but then he got robbed, so then he works in a crystal shop, and all of these things are bringing him closer, right? Everything he meets, and you find out that he's on his personal journey, and they cover this personal journey, your destiny, what your, dreams are, how you, fulfill your full potential. And so he meets, he gets to the desert, he meets a woman he loves, he decides that love isn't, and she supports him knowing that he'll come back. And so he gets to the pyramids, right? He finally gets to where he thinks it is, the treasure is, and he starts digging, and it turns out, and he gets robbed, again for the third time, and then
gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
That was unexpected.
And then it turns out that, when he's talking, he tells them, I'm digging for treasure, and the guy says, there's no treasure here. I once dreamed, there was treasure buried underneath an abandoned church.
In Spain.
And that is exactly where he started. And so it turns out that the treasure he was looking for was at his home. And so it's, this folklore, allegorical tale about, chasing your dreams, but really finding it, where you started.
I said it to Brendan earlier. It's very much the real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
Shut up. Yeah. But it was.
Right, and not in a cheesy way.
Yeah.
It was, it's part fantasy, part, epic, part adventure, and that's where you get that sort of, folklore, fable-ish story.
Yeah.
It's maybe not the animals. The hawks aren't talking to him directly, but they're giving him that vision. but he's able to talk to the wind. He's able to talk to these, things that are, not typically sentient, and that's because he's in touch with his self. Like, he's at peace, at one with the universe, and so all of this, it's just like a warm hug, right? Yeah. The story, and it narrated by Jeremy Irons, right?
Which made it.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah,
it's a warm hug.
Missy did say he was incredibly soothing, and no joke, he was incredibly soothing.
Yeah, it's very much.
You find yourself lost in the story as you're listening to it, and it was absolutely delightful.
It was very much like a coming of age novel, because it's like this guy, like this kid, like meets these different mentors that each teach him a different lesson.
I like my favorite part was the crystal shop part, where he's like, "Let me just get in there and polish your crystal, and that'll get me, and then I enough to eat for the day."
Yeah,
and then he ends up, staying for 10 months to a year,
11. Yeah.
And
that's where he gets the money,
right?
I like the that was like, what was the old saying is, if you get robbed, he left the alchemist. Well, I missed the alchemist, right? So when, as part of it, he's he meets an Englishman. They're traveling in the desert, and the Englishman's journey is to find an alchemist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Santiago ends up, inadvertently becoming the alchemist's protege, just because he is, the one who's more, I would say,
listening to the voice of the world.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I love the part where he's like, I want to learn to make lead into gold. He's like, well, have you tried?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Well, give it a shot. It was the journey felt realistic, there was no, except for the turning into the wind part. That was just thrown into the air. But it felt like a journey that anybody could take.
Yeah, except the visions and, the taking finding omens from Umim and Thumim.
Yeah, but that's just flipping a coin.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's one step away from flipping a coin. Just reach in your pocket, pull out whichever one comes first.
Yeah,
that's flipping coins with an extra coin. So, but it was fun.
What do you think, Brennan?
So, you know me, I always teach back my work on the books. Because I actually joined you guys on the audiobook.
Welcome. Yeah. Reading with your eyeballs is for nerds.
Because it was Jeremy Irons, I normally, if I have to listen, I'll listen at 5 speed. But because it's Jeremy Irons, it took us 5 hours, and I took the CD route.
He made it phenomenal. Made it just a treat to listen to.
Yeah, I agree with Ben that there's sort of, the bones of it are really good. He'd be reductive to call it YA. I think it's really more universal. It felt more like a classical mythological tale. And in doing research, it actually is classified under there's a enumerative system for super old tales. It actually lines up very similarly to a story from Thousand Nights. So it's the format of the story of youth is challenged with purpose, youth travels far away, treasure goes at the beginning full time is not new. I thought what was really interesting is the author. Apparently this came to him in a dream, or like he said, I dreamed up this concept and it was very apropos for the story.
He wrote it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, wrote it in 2 weeks, very, very quickly. They're trying to make it into a movie, all this stuff.
Oh, really?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I felt like it was a good balance of the sort of classic mythological hero's journey, but it felt like the prose was a lot more modern. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it fit under the standard mold of YA. I didn't think it fit under the standard mold of fantasy. I thought it was really more about the story of the individual. It's sort of like, yeah, go ahead.
It was rooted in, like, a lot of them this is my opinion. I feel like a lot of the stories that are rooted in YA or like the YA books we read now or the fantasy, like it's not quite here. You know, the stories are not quite this world. Like like even when we read Legend Board, it sounded like, they were in, Georgia? Right? Or they were in one of the Carolinas or Georgia, but they were in the South.
Yeah, they were at USC or whatever.
Right, and yet it didn't feel like ours. Like, it felt like you can't drive there. It felt like it was happened here. You know, not Naperville, but like in our world. Like the stories were the history was something you've read about in class, and you know, they're talking about the influence of the church and all of those things. Are like, oh, I've read about this in history. I've read about this here. They felt like a real concrete place. Like you could go visit this place and see where this journey started.
Right.
And like one thing that I thought was interesting, like I think it said it on the Wikipedia page, the New York Times reviewed it as like this is more of a self-help book. Right, but it I thought
with
that was magic. But you know what I mean? Like it feels like it's very self-reflective. It teaches you, like, and again, Jeremy Irons is very calming. He's very slow. It's very like, you know, honey, like a warm hug kind of. Like, so you're able to sit with this in a way that, you know, maybe a different narrator would not have that same effect. So it rolls over you and you're thinking through like, oh, you know, like you're learning these lessons with him. You're thinking about the ways that, you know, they apply in your own life. And I just think I would never classify this as YA. Like I would, even though it's a youth protagonist trying to find his way.
It doesn't feel like it appeals to younger audiences, though. Because to me, the story maybe it's just the way Jeremy Irons read it, but I felt like there was like a wistfulness of like the remembrances of youth as you were sitting there. Like the story made me think of like the adventures I would imagine myself going to go on when I was very young, you know? And because it felt like the hardships were bad, but easily overcome. Like the solution seemed like right there. You know, like he struggled, he was robbed, and then like he found a solution within a day.
But that's the point, right? Because if you're in pursuit of your personal legends, then like the world will conspire to bring it about.
Yeah, you're just goal oriented and aware of opportunities. But it was just
it went in a little bit like it felt. I was worried at some points that it was going to go like a little bit like The Secret.
Oh yeah, where you just visualize and you visualize what's going on in the world. Yeah, if it turned out like that, I would have just had to throw my phone and everything to do with this story out the window. Well, you just have to visualize, and then
you'll make it happen. Yeah.
Really? Is that what you were visualizing?
There are a variety of
really. That Alexander Skarsgård as Eric Northman was going to disappear.
Yeah.
That's your.
If you read the Giver, for example, we've all been in court, right? At some point, the narrative sort of falls away.
Also, Alexander Skarsgård was in fact in that movie adaptation.
Yes, he was. And at some point in the Giver, the narrative sort of falls away.
You're so proud of yourself when you're terribly.
It sort of erodes to that, then gives way to the high concepts of like, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like apply this to modern day allegory. It's very heavy with the narratives kind of secondary now. This story, The Alchemist, maintains a level of historical believability. It maintains a level of personal experience that's realistic. Having all been children, we all like. I know I personally felt like I could empathize with the character being in the perspective of a kid. Like,
right.
As an adult, there's so many other pragmatic ways you can solve solutions, but as a kid, you know, it seemed like he approached it with authenticity. And also, this story became more than just him being in that period at that time. it reminded me very much of when Vonnegut got extremely offended that publishers were selling Slaughterhouse 5 as a science fiction book. It's like that the circumstances may be astounding and extra dimensional, but all because you don't understand the circumstances, it's not science, it's not speculative fiction, right? So yes, there's magic in it, but it's not like this. A lot of modern fantasy is reductive. I use that word. You read the book and it's like, hey, there's going to be 40 years, there's going to be everyone wanting to bang, there's going to be like magic's sake. Like check off the tropes because I want to escape from my office job. And this story very much was he's Andalusian and he goes to the pyramids because that's the environment that he's living in. It didn't seem to me like it was like, oh, go to this fantastic world. It was almost very, very. I would argue it's very realistic in that he responds to this.
But when he's talking at the end, he says, he like laughs, right? You crafty.
You bastard sorcerer. You knew it was here the whole time. Why didn't you just tell me? He's like, but then you wouldn't have seen the pyramids. And weren't those great?
Explore. You had to learn those lessons to get there, to appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like, it was sort of like you had to learn, like, it's sort of like he had to learn not to just like trust the first person that finds out he has money. He has to like learn how to like make money grow. He has to like learn how to like protect, it almost felt like every step along the way was like learning how to protect, like not just give away the money, learn how to like grow the money, learn how to protect the money, and then learn how to find the money. So then
go ahead, sorry.
Like that's kind of what it kind of felt like to me. It was like each different like mentor he met along the way was like to teach him a little bit more about like becoming a man and not just like being stupid with his dream and stuff. Like
he gave away 10% of it before he even had it.
Right.
And then all of his money.
Right, and like that was like when
right away. Like he would have been broke 5 minutes after finding that treasure.
Right. If he would
have been like, it's under the tree you were sleeping against this morning.
Yeah, he would have gone and given it to his dad, and his dad would have been like, thanks.
Yeah, I'm out.
Well, and like, the shepherd, you don't even learn the first woman's name that he's in love with, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
merchant's daughter, yeah.
Right. And so, again, you have this moment of like, had he started there, he would have gotten this, met her, it would have been fine. But instead, he traveled, he found someone who supported his dreams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who didn't hold him back, who let him be who he wanted to be, and that was love, right? Like,
yeah.
Right. And so it's this journey, and it's just teaching along the way of what it is to grow up, what it is to be a man or be an adult, or in some ways it is that traditional coming of age story, but in a way that to your point, Brendan, isn't heavy.
Don't just like go down with the first bra that makes goo eyes at you.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This was a time where crossing into Egypt, that was Muslim country.
Yeah,
that was ideologically opposed to what he believed. So I believe
that was like Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, I believe at this time they would look and be like, "Those guys are fucked up. We're right. They're fucked up," and yet he spends time with them to realize that, like, I think it's also a story a little bit about challenging preconceived notions, such as he's like, well, I can't go over there. That's where, non-Christians are.
Yeah, like when he first enters Africa, he's kind of like, meh, about like the Arabs, and then by the end of it, he's like spent a year there. He's learned the language, and he's like, these guys are all right.
Yeah, he loves them.
Like he'd rather hang out with like he joins the caravan, and he'd rather hang out with like the camel driver rather than the Englishman.
Yeah,
I mean the Englishman sounds insane.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, like,
well, if you think about it, the majority of like French, English, Germanic nobles that were told by the Roman Catholic Church that if you die in the Holy Land slaying slaying Muslims in the name of Christ. You are, speed past to heaven. The idea that the Middle East is full of the other, full of the enemy, and we can go there and pillage and burn for glory and salvation. The idea to go over there and just humbly experience a different culture or just learn. I mean, think about the how algebra flourished, how mathematical proofs flourished under the Ottoman Empire. Astronomy. There's so many sciences flourished under the Ottomans in that period. That a wise man, an alchemist, man of science that had the courage to not go over there to butcher.
She just looked at me and goes, "Fucking nerd."
Let's think about how the sciences and algebra work. No.
Hey.
I mean, to be fair,
9 and 0
at the same time.
The numbers
the Catholic churches.
The numbers that you use to do like math and are on your paycheck are all Arabic numerals.
The numbers that are right now on our Twitch screen are Arabic numerals.
That's a goddamn conspiracy.
So
nobody was teaching my children Arabic numerals.
So
I think that was a thing. That was like someone tried to do that.
Actually, when they said, "What do you think about your children learning Arabic numerals?" and people getting all pissed.
The Guardians only count with Super Bowl numbers. So
all 9 letters are numbers. Damn it.
Yeah. So the fact that he's the first to even go there, the purpose of adventure and exploration, sets him apart from probably all of his peers and toothless farmers that he grew up around.
To be fair, he left the family farm at like 11. And just like, his dad was like, "All right, fine, go ahead, find your fortune." Probably figured he'd be back in like 2 weeks.
Trainer Missy said.
Like his dad probably figured he'd be back in like 3 days.
That was his sheep.
I was talking to our neighbor. There's only 151 of them. He'll be back in 2 weeks. By the time he comes back, there's all 7 generations. I thought there was only 151. Nope.
Yeah.
Poor Ash. His whole life sucks because he keep finding new Pokemon.
I love how
wandering.
he finally won like the Pokemon Tour or whatever 20 years into the show, and then he really retires.
Yeah.
I mean, he never got past 10 years old while he was thrown. I mean, he was thrown out so Professor Oak could bang his mom, and then he stayed 10 years old forever. That's been in my theory. Is that thrown out.
A hilarious skit is that he finally wins the Pokemon title, and they're like, "Your prizes were allowed to age normally," and he immediately is 35. He's like, "Oh yes, thank God." my voice, facial hair. Oh, thank God.
No, my favorite headcanon is that the whole reason Oak just sends him off into the wilderness is because he wants to bang Ash's mom.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, I mean, doesn't Mr. Mime?
Because in the show, whenever like Ash calls his mom, Oak's like in the background, like eating cereal. Sorry, Missy.
But that's gross. You're right. Get out.
I know I started this tangent.
You did. You're careful.
But
my book is not about Pokemon, damn it.
I mean, I did tell him.
It's like I feel like the last time we went on a Warhammer tangent, it was your fault too. So, are you trying to tell us something, Missy? Are you?
He wants to read a Pokemon Warhammer.
No, we'll go read the Inquisitor book. They collect Gezenos like Pokemon.
Trees in the Infinite.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yes.
Trees in the Infinite's a Pokemon trainer, 100%.
You'd rather be deaf than read Pokemon?
No, I'm hearing this conversation.
You started it.
Rude.
You know what?
Anyway. So the book's a lot of fun. I don't think.
I enjoyed. There was not one part that I disliked. There was a couple parts where I raised an eyebrow.
I honestly.
And was like, "Turn into the wind. He can do it." You're like, "Wow, that's a bold ask right there." Talk to the sun. He can do it.
I got annoyed with the continuously making dumb decisions part of the first half. Of like, he's like, oh yeah, you can have all my money. You're my new friend. And I was like, oh no, buddy. Oh no.
Do not underestimate how stupid you were as a kid.
Yes. And
I don't think I would have handed money to like some kid that like immediately was like, oh yeah.
Dude, a guy walked out of like smoke and was like, I'm the king of wherever the fuck he was. And he's like, you're going to be following your personal legend and nothing will go wrong. Like, he was really hyped up to do dumb shit.
No.
Man, I've got an engineering degree. When I was 11, I thought that foundation was something a woman stood on to put on her makeup. Okay. During the Bill Clinton scandal, my mom immediately turned off the radio for like 4 weeks. I was convinced that he was in trouble for using the Oval Office phone to talk about sex.
Huh?
That's what oral sex is. Okay, so do not underestimate how stupid you were as a kid.
So you thought Bill Clinton just sitting there being like, I've had sex. They're like, get that man.
You're just having phone sex. Bill Clinton was calling a sex hotline, and
was it like deep?
Do you think it goes in?
So just the bare bones.
The Secret Service like, get him. He's talking about sex. That's wrong.
Anyway.
So wait, not even like detailed sex. Just like, you think the penis goes in there? And she's like, they're like, get that pervert.
He mustn't know. Get him.
He can't know what to do.
He can't know.
I just thought it was funny how like much the book. Back on topic. I feel like I just thought it was
presidential sex talk. Do you think it? The funny thing is he goes, do you think it goes in? Like that's. He's like, so it goes all the way in? They're like, get that motherfucker!
Yeah, I'm on your side.
Putin is like bugging the phone to Russia's like, shut that down.
Shut that down, it goes in. Russell's like, they're on to something.
Wouldn't that have been Gorbachev back then?
Move we've been hoping for.
It's like the space race. Trying to figure out sex first.
Wouldn't that have been Gorbachev back then? In the 90s?
Gorbachev is Reagan. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
Anyway, I forget my Russian history, my bad. But yeah, I thought it was funny how like the kid would vacillate between. It's fun to be the straight man in the group. Anyway, the book would vacillate between having the kid be like ultra straight man is a comedy term for the guy that doesn't like.
Did you literally
laugh?
Have to explain that? Did somebody ask?
She looked like she was about to make. She looked like she was about to make a comment.
No, you could tell Missy was going to jump on that.
Missy was about to make a comment, so I like had to explain.
You're prude, so I'll just let it go.
Are you're gonna go prude on me again?
Let's just say he moved that in his monastery, and if he's hair, you would see the hair that he's removed.
Continue, Ben.
Up, down, left, right, up, down.
You guys done? Can I talk about the book now?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Remember, it goes in.
It's a wonderful picture, man. I'm sorry.
So, I thought it was funny how the book would vacillate between like the character being like super naive and then like all these adults like listening to him for advice and being like, huh, I've never thought of that before. Let's do it. And I just thought it was like the whole thing with like the crystal merchant like it's like talks him into letting him just polish the crystal every day because he's in a dusty place. And it's like, it'll make you more money. And it was like, yeah, that makes sense. Go for it.
fresh ice thing,
Yeah.
This guy's been doing the same thing for 30 years, and he's like, I'm fine with what I'm doing.
I know, it's like...
Because he always said he wanted to do this, and he was like, but I can do...
But he settled without, and he never thought of it. He just accepted this is what he could do.
So he was like, I can... That's why he was like, well, let's sell tea out of this.
Yeah.
They'll buy the tea, but they'll also buy the crystal. And the guy was like, no, I don't want to do that because then it'll give me the money and then I'll have to do the thing that I always said I wanted to do. And I'm happy with what I want to do.
Yeah, he just wanted to sit on his ass and bitch.
Smoke hookah.
Yeah, you started out by those people who say they want to do these things, right? They tell these people they have these
until
things.
they find out it takes effort and work, and then they're like, no.
Or until it's, a reality and you have to actually follow through and then it's scary. But if he did say, no, and then he was like, do it. So it was nice.
But that also felt realistic.
Yeah. It's very much like...
We can.
Yeah, he meets... He also meets people on, like, different stages of fulfilling their dream or journey. So, like, he meets, like, he meets the baker who never followed, like, there's, like, the baker that never followed his journey. There's, like, the crystal merchant that, like, started the business in the hopes of fulfilling his dream. And then you have the proto-alchemist, like, Englishman who's, like, he's, like, in pursuit of his dream, but he hasn't, like, really started, like, fully taking the steps until, like, they get to the oasis, and then he finally starts trying to actually become an alchemist instead of just, like, saying he wants to be an alchemist. And then you finally have, like, the alchemist who has, like, fulfilled his dream and is, like, helping someone, like, discover it. And then I forgot about it at the beginning. You have, like, Melchizedek, the king, who's like, he's
quest giver.
Like he's like I'm the old guy that's already gotten all my dreams fulfilled, and I want people to go fulfill them. God damn it! But which is like that was one thing I was wondering about. Like, what was the reference to Melchizedek being the king of Salem? Is that like Jerusalem? Is that what that is, or
he was an actual king?
I know, but like the king of Salem, and all I could think of was Salem witch trials, and I was confused by that.
I figured it since there was Spain before that, probably not.
So remember, these are super ultra Christians. They named Salem after the biblical reference.
Oh, so like Jerusalem, like Melchizedek, because okay, got it. I was just like, I kept getting like thrown off by that.
Genesis, the king of righteousness.
Yeah. I knew Melchizedek. I just didn't know. I'd never heard like the king of Salem before. So
and then Melchizedek.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like
it's like Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Put it in.
All right, and on the button, put it in. Well, we gotta go. Secret Service is here, apparently. We're not allowed. Yep. Oh my God, that's probably exactly how it was for him.
He's like, I will figure this out. He's in the jail cell. They take away his water and his like, no, he's not puzzling.
He's just sitting there puzzling it with the red phone over there. He's like, we'll get this someday. Monica, get in here. We've got questions to answer.
All right, final thoughts on Ben. Final thoughts.
Good book. Love Jeremy Irons. I feel like that really like made it for me. Like just like every time he like broke out like one of the like old Arab guy voice, I was like, yes, excellent.
Drive from Kingdom of Heaven.
Right. Yeah, it was good. Like I said, it was very. I felt like it was very like we talked about proto YA, but like hero's journey sort of thing. Is there's nothing groundbreaking about it, but it was like a good little like romp. At certain points, I feel like it was like the author didn't really do a whole lot of like research on the location he was talking about, because I felt like some of it was very like fantastical like view of like life in the deserts or whatever, but which is fine, but you know,
not classify this as a rom. Like Terry Pratchett is a rom, right? Like,
yeah. Okay, like, maybe. Sorry, I used the wrong word.
Engaging.
It was an engaging little journey, following this kid making dumb decisions and then smart decisions and then dumb decisions again. It was good.
Brendan?
Yeah, I like that it wasn't hyper chronological. I sort of it was told in a way of someone almost reminiscing about childhood and growing up. I love historical references. For a book that was translated from Portuguese, it actually has very good prose.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, his name's Paulo. I've seen enough UFC to know a Brazilian. It's like,
yeah.
So yeah, or Portuguese, you know. So yeah, I love a good anti-ending. I think the 80s created enough high concept movies that I love a good. The journey was what we learned along the way.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jeremy Irons, an excellent package. I was thoroughly entertained.
So we're gonna do Brideshead Revisited.
No, same.
So,
I loved it. It was engaging from start to finish. It did feel like someone telling a story from how I found my treasure and how it came.
Yeah.
And
it's like there's like the you have a vision of like the old Santiago in the desert in the oasis, just being like, let me tell you about how I found all my gold. You know,
it was. I liked the errors they seemed very logical to me. The way that he came in and everybody's like, you can't miss if you're following your personal legend. And so of course he's going to come in and like throw his gold to the first guy who's like, I'll help you. And I think it was a series of eye-opening behaviors, like coming in there and like getting robbed day one, and now he's like, oh shit. Like,
there's definitely a lot of personal growth that he went through, and he's like learning to listen to the desert and listen to the world and
and respect traditions too.
Yeah.
Remember, he couldn't talk to women because they were married.
He listened to the first person they talked to, and then allowed him to help his friend or whatever. So
it was him learning to respect cultures and slow down and think a little bit and pay attention to what's going on. And also to get his ass beat and realize he shouldn't have left the place he left in the first place. That's where all the money's at.
It was just like such a wild escalation. All of a sudden, like these dudes are like beat the shit out of him, and then he just starts laughing, and they're like, fuck it, leave him alone.
It ends like a Hallmark movie.
Because most Hallmark movies end with somebody getting the shit kicked out of them, and then
sometimes what you're looking for and you desire the most
is right next to you.
It's
a tiny town hinged on a.
That's what I said. The like I said, the treasure all along was the friends we made along the way. That's totally what this book was.
Hallmark movies. It's some stupid little shop that sells cookies on Christmas that if you don't save it by Christmas Day and kiss the weird big city stranger, everything falls the fucking apart. That's what it is. The whole town. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna have a stroke now.
On that note,
Brendan, I think you're up.
Oh, he is.
It's me.
And we're gonna read Wet Hot Allosaurus Summer. Ravaged by the raptor and Triceratops bottoms.
Would you guys hate me?
Yes.
Fine. We're gonna read Ombre by Elmore Leonard.
Not familiar with that one. Ombre like man or ombre like color?
Like man in Spanish.
Okay.
Because
he's like, we're gonna read The Secrets of the Death Guard by James Workout. Just your codex.
Joe was getting clippy, so I'm like, you know what? I love westerns. I love like Zane Grey and stuff. It's called
Hombre.
No, the H is silent.
I got that.
Hombre by Elmore Leonard.
So, Elmore is far, far more well-known for his mysteries. But this book was very successful upon its publication and led to the movie starring Paulo. Because it covers issues of race and identity in a period when that was becoming a hot issue, and it's one of the few American outlets of mythology. I feel like we get the West, we get comic books, and baseball. Right, they're the three American mythologies.
And Paul Bunyan, Johnny Appleseed.
That falls under movie West.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, valid. So it's my weakness. I love Western movies, and I love Elmore Leonard. We've had discussions on how I feel about Christie. So, but yeah, this was it's kind of like, Stephen King can write a Green Mile. He can write out The Body, which can stand by me. He can shoot from free and from the pain. So let's read some Elmore Leonard trying his hand at Western.
No. It is on Everend, so perfect.
You're went from talking about Warhammer shit to be like, he can make a free from the paint.
What?
Because Brendan is the modern Renaissance man. That's what you have to understand about him.
I think you mean him on the spectrum, but okay.
Yeah. He has a lot of sorry.
He's like,
I'll rephrase. He has a lot of
Hey, broker.
Brendan has a lot of what's the thing that you call it when you have the thing that you're obsessed with when you're autistic? What do they call that?
special interest.
Special interest. Brendan has many special interests.
Excuse me.
Missy just said they're all dick.
I am multifaceted like a shining jewel. All right.
You could have taken the Renaissance man comment and just left it, but no, you wanted me to be an asshole.
I'm an autistic diamond, goddammit.
I was like, Brendan is a modern Renaissance man, and Brendan's like, I'm autistic.
I don't have sherry. All right, all I have is an empty orange juice. So I can't really classic Renaissance.
Oh well. All right.
Are you feeling bejeweled?
Dazzling. Shine bright like a diamond, Brendan. Shine bright like a diamond.
I hate all of you.
Anyway.
Bullshit. If you did shine bright like a diamond, you're fucking broke. Candles and the autism comedian over here. You're just like,
we are clickbait factories, Joel. We are carrying this channel.
Yeah.
Water.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. I don't know when we'll be back.
Ben's like, I might be done with this.
We might come back next week. I don't know. Maybe we'll have some fun.
Right.
Maybe we won't.
Elmore Leonard.
We could maybe do more. Actually, no. Fuck it. We're not filming next week. That's what I'm deciding for the group. But we will.
Oh, it's short.
Mm-hmm.
It's really short. We can do next week.
Really trying
to get us just trying to get us to home base, and just Joel's like, nope, we're gonna keep rolling.
Well, because he doesn't understand sportsmen.
Yes, what is sports ball?
The problem is I'm such a dork that I have to go out of my way to cross the border to sports and leave all of my friends and find one sports friend and then come back. So I have to consistently cross the tracks, talk to Warhammer, be like, hey, so
I talk about sports with you, fuck off.
You do. You're
I remember using the putter on the basketball court.
Ben and I are multi-classed.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I think snippets of this episode should be in your Tinder profile.
I'm a multifaceted diamond.
On that note,
thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you again after the new year, where we'll be talking about some Warhammer and probably going back to some Dungeons and Dragons. But thanks everybody.
They do indeed put it in.
Yeah.
How about